Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast, a show that examines all aspects of sexuality, from physical to emotional to spiritual. Join our hosts as they discuss age-old questions, common misconceptions, and the latest topics surrounding sex. They'll tackle topics about sexuality from the complicated to the hilarious and everything in between. GSMC Sex Podcast is your show for all of your questions about sex, even some you might not have thought of yet.
Thank you for listening to the GSMC Sex Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Gaelika Brown. If you like what you hear, you know the routine. Subscribe. Also write a review if you really like what you hear. Follow us on Twitter at GSMC_sex. Now, I am not a sex expert. I love me some Dr. Ruth, though. But I am not Dr. Ruth. However, I have spent some time on this earth and have experienced some things and have witnessed some things. And because I'm an excellent listener, I have heard some things. I am a student of human behavior and I love to learn. I love to research topics and present what I have learned, which is what I do on this podcast. And of course, I'm going to give my 2 cents about the matter, but I will also include what experts have to say. Now let's talk about sex. I'm an elderly millennial, so I actually remember a time when dick pics were not common. A time when it was too time-consuming and difficult to send a dick pic. This is pre-social media, when it was all about chat rooms and cyber boyfriends and girlfriends. It was more innocent back then, compared to high schoolers now and social media apps at their fingertips via their phone. My freshman year of high school, I had a cyber BF boyfriend that lived in Texas. We would log on to the chat room at the same time every night via our desktop computers and dial-up internet. Some of y'all might not even know what dial-up is, but literally to log onto the internet, it would sound like a phone is dialing and make this long sound. And when you heard like this certain like ringtone buzz sound, like you knew like, voila, like I'm on, yes. So, and if someone was on the phone at my house, that meant I couldn't use dial-up internet because it used the phone line, the one phone line that we had, which meant that I couldn't enter the chat room to chat with my BF. Now, one time he sent me actual pictures of himself via the U.S. Postal Service. Yes, snail mail. I remember being so excited when I received his mail. There was a handwritten letter with 2 innocent photos of himself. Dick pics were not at the forefront of our minds. If someone wanted to send a dick pic, they would have to use an actual camera. A bulky camera at that. So the only way to capture your dick well would be to set the camera up on a tripod or sitting on something, get the film developed, which means you had to go somewhere and wait at least an hour, then scan the photo and use your dial-up internet to upload it and send it as an email attachment. You had to be horny as hell or a true pervert to take all those steps and use all that time just to show off your junk. But now you can literally aim your phone at your junk and send it in seconds. Dick pics and unsolicited dick pics have been on the rise. And that is the topic of this episode. Dick pics. I have been single for the last 4 years, and in those 4 years, I have received a plethora of dick pics. Yet I know women who have never been sent a dick pic or have only received one, and they might have even received that one on accident. They don't even know whose dick it is, just boom, there's a dick. So I'm like, what is it about me or my personality that attracts guys that are eager to digitally show me their dick? After reading about an art exhibit called I Didn't Ask for This, A Lifetime of Dick Pics, it turned out I'm not alone. The traveling exhibit has over 150 pornographic images of dicks and was curated by artist and feminist activist Whitney Bell. The exhibit seeks to expose not only the ubiquity of unwanted dick pics, but also the ways they can infiltrate a woman's life, showing up on her phone without notice at any given moment during the day. That exhibit inspired Mel magazine to write an article entitled 19 Women on What It's Like to Receive Dick Pics. All women were asked if they have received unsolicited dick pics and how it made them feel. Here are a few responses. This one's from a 32-year-old woman. How do you feel when you get a dick pic? To me, it's like, seriously, like, no, you. First of all, I don't think women want these. I personally don't. And they're always sent really early on when you don't even know them. It's like a space invasion. It changes the whole tone of the conversation where it's no longer just two people talking. It's one person trying to assert power over the other. My 2 cents. From my experience, they always get sent early on. We are barely getting to know each other through text or chat, and all you can think about is sending me a dick pic. As if, took me back to Clueless, as if the beauty of your dick is so powerful that it's going to woo me into wanting to have sex with you in that moment. Another woman, this time a 30-year-old, answered when asked the ratio of unsolicited pics she has received. She said, I gotta be honest, I don't think I've ever gotten an unsolicited one. I've always gotten like, hey, wanna see my dick? And I'd be like, yeah, because that's hilarious. And then I'd show all of my friends. My 2 cents. The wanna see it has been the bulk of my experience. It's like a kid with a new toy. Wanna see it? One of my wanna see it questions predated sexting. In college, I had a coworker I had a crush on. The very first time we hung out, we were in our work's parking lot. I don't even think I was in the car for 5 minutes before he eagerly asked, wanna see it? I mean, I'm curious. And like this chick said, yeah, because it's hilarious. The even more hilarious thing about it is he whipped it out like voila. And it was one of the most uneventful and disappointing moments in my life. He was so cute. And his pee-pee was just that, a little pee-pee. I wished that I had never been shown it. And I have had that experience over and over again digitally. Here's a 25-year-old woman. How do you feel when you get an unsolicited dick pic? She says, I think the first one I ever got, I was just really annoyed. It was on Snapchat, and it was a dude who I was talking to on Tinder for a couple of weeks. We hadn't met yet, and it was like, whoa. And it was small, so it was funny. See, guys, big and small want to show off their members. To them, it is magnificent. The whole world should see it. The small ones watch porn, and I guess in their mind, they are Dirk Diggler with 9+ inches. Or I don't know what they're watching. Maybe they're not even comparing it. They just think, oh, I got the magic stick. So when really they are Danny DeVito and their Vienna sausage just made me and my homegirl's day. Thanks for the laughs, little fella. If you want to act like a hoe by sending pics early on, then you will be treated like a hoe. Here is another 30-year-old woman. How do you feel when you get sent a dick pic? I think it's funny that they think I'm going to get something out of it. That said, I don't think they care what I get out of it. It's for them. It's all about them. So I just say yes because either they're going to send it anyway or they're going to get mad and turn nasty and say nasty shit to you. I get it, girl. They are only sending it for their pleasure. They want you to tell them how splendid it is. I've been baited. There are guys who won't send an unsolicited pic. Instead, they want you to ask. And if you don't, they will ask. I've told dudes I don't want to see it yet. Instead, why won't you tease me, be creative, and maybe show me everything but that? The tease and wonder is more fun than immediately receiving a dick pic. There goes the mystery, and they just ruined any chance that they had to seriously date you. Here's a 29-year-old woman. Have you gotten a dick pic? Yeah, unsolicited. I've gotten 3, and it was all within the same few-week period. I had about 4 potential guys. I married the one who didn't send me the dick pic. There's a lesson there. I married the one who didn't send me the dick pic. My 2 cents. Good lesson. Some dudes send them because they just want to smash. Some want to smash and date you. For those who want to smash and date, sending a pic can ruin your dating opportunity. I've had guys that I genuinely liked and truly wanted to get to know and date, and I suspected that they weren't packing the type of heat I prefer, but I knew if I like him and our chemistry was good, I could maybe work around the bite-sizedness. Once he baited me into receiving a pic, he confirmed my bite-sized suspicions, took away the mystery, and now I'm not that interested in you anymore. I had a friend that received a dick pic, and the thing itself was unattractive, not because it was small. A year later, she tries to set me up with a guy. I wasn't attracted to him at all, and I suspected he was the unattractive dick pic guy from a year ago. It turned out it was him. I told her I wasn't interested, and she said, he's such a great guy. My response, a great guy who sends unattractive dick pics, and I'm not trying to date someone who sends dick pics. She was like, but he didn't send it to you. It doesn't matter. He sent the pic, and I saw it, and it was ugly. See, guys, don't think that far. If you send a pic and the recipient finds it humorous, they will show their friends. That friend may happen to be there at the time you sent it, like I was in that situation, or they may screenshot it and share it. So you send it to one chick, and 10 may have seen it and have gotten a good belly laugh. But in this guy's case, he was a lonely, good guy who shot one shot a year ago with my friend, but missed that one shot twice when he tried to get with me. But the damage of his unattractive dick pic has been done. And fellas, here's a tip when taking pics. Make sure your surroundings are nice, because we are zooming in on your nasty carpet with the pet stains on it. At least I hope those are pet stains. We see your grandma's wallpaper in the bathroom, and we see your long-ass toenails you need to cut. All right, we'll take a break and return with why guys say they send dick pics.
Still on the search of that one true love? On the limbo in this crazy world of dating, marriage, relationships? Well, listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Relationship Podcast, your one-stop podcast for everything about relationships.
Welcome back to the GSMC Sex Podcast. I'm your host, Gaelika Brown. This episode is about dick pics. Close to half of female millennials have said that they have received a dick pic. A Vice survey says that 46% of 18 to 36-year-old women have received a dick pic. 41% were unsolicited, and 12% have been asked, "Want to see it?" Psychology Today has a study that shows 53% of millennial women have received a dick pic. And of those women, 78% received unwanted sexual images. The article says, the majority of women labeled this behavior as both gross, 49%, and stupid, 48%, while just under a quarter of them, 24%, felt sad. Feel so sad for you, fella? Whereas when the men asked what terms they thought women would use to label dick pics, they also selected gross as number 1, 32%. But then their second choice went straight to sexy, 30%. It's obvious there's a breakdown in communication between sexes on the merits of nudes. Now, ladbible.com asked men why they send dick pics. One guy says, "My dick is thicker and longer than average. When you're blessed, you need to sometimes let people know. I get more attention from girls once they know what I'm packing than if they weren't aware. Best way to make them aware is a dick pic. Voila." Yeah, this guy sounds like a douchebag, but I think he represents short and thin guys too. They all think that their penis is a blessing and that they have to spread the good news. Now this guy says, and this is a 30-year-old, "I used to send dick pics to basically anyone who would have them. It's definitely an expression of power in some sense. It's the epitome of your masculinity. It's what makes you a man. What good am I but it?" My 2 cents. This guy doesn't even have self-worth. He has no idea who he is and wants to bring that mess to a woman via a dick pic. All right, listen to this guy. This dude's 29. "I think that it's lashing out towards women on online dating sites, whether harmless, annoyance, or genuine harassment, is caused by being ignored so thoroughly by so many women. After a while, women on these sites aren't people with feelings. They're just thousands of profiles who all seem to dislike you for completely unknown reasons." I think I might know what one of those reasons are. "Dick pics are, I think, a very specific form of harassment, probably from guys who are more on the narcissistic side and perhaps overly confident about their bodies. The end goal of this little game is to elicit some kind of reaction, good, bad, or otherwise. So ladies, this is the mindset, subconscious or not, of some of the men sending you the pics. Do you want to invite that baggage into your bedroom because you find his dick attractive? Just something to consider. Here's another. Sending a dick pic is the same thing as saying, "I want to fuck you." I'm not going to send one to a girl I want to date right off the bat. That's from a 27-year-old. Like I said earlier, if you act like a hoe, you will be treated like a hoe, male or female. If you just want to bang, then more power to you. If you are trying to date, then think twice about how you respond to that dick pic. Another guy goes on to explain how he had a crush on a coworker, but didn't know how to talk to her, so he sent a pic. Here's what he said. "I was worried she would block and share the pic around, but if I didn't do it, then I wanted to find out if she liked me." Really, dude? Then she sent one back, and it went on and on. This was until I saw her with her boyfriend. So I laughed to myself and walked away. My 2 cents. So are dick pics the adult version of the note that says, "Do you like me? Check yes or no"? And yeah, he can just laugh and walk away, but that relationship is doomed, and her boyfriend may not even know it. Fellas, yes, your girl is receiving dick pics, and she may or may not be responding to them. The bottom line is, digital nude pics are ruining relationships too. Speaking of ruining relationships, Marie Claire has an article entitled, "My Boyfriend's Secret Life as Anthony Weiner 2.0. So this woman was dating a guy she thought was husband material for 6 months. He asked her to wait at his place as he was running late. He gave her permission to use his computer. She wasn't snooping. She wasn't looking for anything suspicious. But what is done in the dark always comes to the light. I know this from experience. She noticed a link that had been clicked on in Craigslist, a secret email account, and a file titled Naked Steve JPEG. And here's what she told Marie Claire. I didn't find out the whole truth that night. Yes, Steve said he'd visited Craigslist casual encounters, but only because it was funny. The dick pics, a prank by his roommates. And the secret email account? It's not mine. I can't even get into it, he exclaimed, rapidly typing, then showing me an error message. Your password is incorrect. There were real tears in his eyes as he swore that it was all a crazy misunderstanding. He would never lie to me. I had to know that, didn't I? My 2 cents. I've experienced those tears before. I think they are just, I got caught up tears. Back to the article. I couldn't unknow what I knew. I was being lied to. It was my first experience with the "it wasn't me" defense, and incredibly, I found myself nodding along. I told him I loved him, which I did, and that I believed him, which I didn't, but thought I might be able to given time. I would just convince myself that despite the evidence, his version of events was the truth, the way some people chose to believe in a 10,000-year-old Earth. But it turns out, faith is not my strong suit. Despite my determination to move on and Steve's attempts to gaslight me, "You're killing our relationship with your mistrust," he said when I tried to discuss it again a few days later. I couldn't unknow what I knew. I was being lied to. The knowledge made me crazy. We fought constantly over the next month. As I became a person I didn't recognize. Paranoid, suspicious, fearful, miserable, and as desperate to learn the truth as I was to pretend it didn't exist. Finally, I hacked into the Hotmail account and read every single message with a mix of fascination and horror. At any given moment of our 6 months relationship, my boyfriend had been juggling half a dozen email exchanges with different women, describing to each one in wildly lascivious detail what he was going to do to her with his throbbing giant naked Steve JPEG. Some of the threads went on for weeks, the conversation evolving from graphic sexual scenarios to mundane hellos and "how was your day?" then veering off into X-rated territory. Sometimes he told them his real name and sent photos of his real junk. Sometimes he used a pseudonym and a picture of someone else's penis. Occasionally, they dance around the possibility of meeting up. As far as I could tell, the cheating never crossed the line into meet space. No dates were made. No addresses were exchanged. None of these women ever touched Steve's body or even saw his face. I couldn't understand it. I knew that there were people out there who lived secret lives on the internet, but I'd always assumed that those people did it because they had to, because they were lonely, unwanted, isolated, friendless, and most especially sexless. Steve was none of those things. It wasn't just that he was cute and successful with good friends and a loving family. It was that he was a nice guy, bland, amiable, even a bit boring. He was the guy people described as husband material. He was safe. It was why I was dating him. Our relationship wasn't exciting, but it was refreshingly free of unpleasant surprises. So you thought. Dang, girl, you thought you had a good one, and it turns out he's no different than the rest. I've dated the good guys, the marriage material guys, and I've been hurt by them. It almost seems like it hurts more because they were supposedly the safer choice. At least the guy was organized with his deviant behavior. Some guys keep the pics in their phone library with family photos. So they're showing you adorable family pics, then boom, a dick is in your face. And these are the same guys that women send pics to, and they keep those pics next to a pic of their mom. So now they're showing their mom how great a picture of her turned out. They swipe left and boom, your titty is in their mama's face. Be careful who you are sending these pics to. If you are unfamiliar with Anthony Weiner, the guy this article is named after, you will soon find out why the last name Weiner is so befitting for him. Weiner is a former member of the United States of Representatives from New York City. He's a former member because he is so obsessed with his Weiner member that he lost his job and his wife because he couldn't stop snapping photos and sending them of young girls, including a 15-year-old. Dude even got his job back at one point and kept getting caught up with these damn dick pics. Now his Weiner, that he was so desperate to show off, not only made him the laughing stock of politics, it ruined his family. Yeah, his wife is divorced from him, but she is still the woman who was married to Anthony Weiner. But again, some guys don't think that far. Some guys don't consider the damage that it may do to loved ones. Some guys don't care because all they think with is their wiener. We will take a break and return with what it looks like when men are on the receiving end of these pictures.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the GSMC Sex Podcast. I'm your host, Gaelika Brown, and we have been talking about dick pics. In this segment, we will discuss the effects of these pics. But first, let's discuss the guy who made one wrong swipe on his girlfriend's phone and it ruined their relationship. So here is what a guy writes on thechive.com. I've been with my girlfriend for about a year and I already know she's the love of my life. She's perfect for me. We're perfect for each other. We're getting ready to move in with each other, and I want nothing more than to start a family with her and spend the rest of my life with her. We went on a short vacation last week, and when we returned, she gave me her phone to look at some photos from the trip. She went to the bathroom while I had her phone, and I was scrolling through the pictures, and it kind of jumped to a period that was about a year and a half ago. If you have an iPhone, you know what I'm talking about. You scroll a little bit too fast and all of a sudden you're back at the start of the photo album. It's annoying as hell. But some photos caught my eye. Some photos that I really shouldn't be seeing of her and her previous boyfriend. There she is, the love of my life, trying to get her mouth around the biggest dick I have ever seen in my life. I've watched porn a lot. I've never seen a dick like this. I'm talking bigger than 2 Coke cans stacked on top of each other. Longer and thicker. As far as I could tell, she was unable to get her teeth around it. I could see another thumbnail of her comparing the size of his dick to her forearm with a look of wonder and glee on her face. I closed the pictures and I've acted like nothing has happened, but I cannot get these images out of my mind. I've never been self-conscious about my dick size. In fact, if you believe the stats, I'm significantly above average. But this has destroyed my self-esteem. We haven't had sex since. I can't concentrate on my work. I just wish I had never seen those damn pictures. I accidentally saw some pictures of the love of my life sucking the biggest dick on earth, and my stupid male ego is destroyed. He wrote an update that says, "There's a lot of people assuming that this was a one-night stand. It wasn't. She was with this guy for 3 years. It hurt his self-esteem to see the love of his life conquering the biggest erect penis he had ever seen. He didn't care that she had a dick pic on her phone. He didn't care that she saved the pics of her old boo. And girl, you could have at least hid the photos or put it in a folder. All he was concerned about was the fact that he didn't measure up. If it was a bite-sized penis she swallowed whole in the pic, he probably wouldn't have even been tripping. Or yet, he would probably still trip because she can't swallow his above-average penis whole. It's always something. Egos do play a large part in one mate finding pics. For women, too. It's like you're cheating on me with a basic chick. At least let her be fine. Or if she's too fine, now your insecurities start to flare up. But I think for the most part, it's about power when it comes to women being scorned finding pics. It's about a man making a choice for her. If she knew you were sending pics to other women, then she could choose to continue to engage in a relationship with you, or she could choose to leave. When it's her choice, she has power. When the guy is secretly sending pics, it's because he knows if she knew, she might leave. So he makes a decision for her by secretly cheating. Even if the pics don't lead to anything physical, it is still cheating. Just like that Anthony Weiner 2.0 article I just read, he never slept with any of those women as far as she can tell. But he was cheating because he was engaging in this secret life that she had no idea even existed. So the site in the UK, it's metro.com, has an article about a woman who sent unsolicited fake vagina pics to men on Bumble. First she would flirt with them, then send the pic. She was trying to shock men, but that didn't shock them at all. So her opener would be the VJJ pic. Men loved this and responded crudely. Here are a few responses. I would definitely hit that. Best girl I matched with on Bumble so far. My tongue needs to be there ASAP. You have the most perfect VJJ. I want to meet her. I mean, you get the gist. So the article says that of the 37 guys who replied to her unsolicited vagina pic, 3 sent her shirtless pics, 7 replied with X-rated accounts of what they'd like to do to her fake vagina, 8 asked to see more, and 10 replied with dick pics, including one that included an happy ending. Every one of them wanted to meet me, regardless of age or location, she says. And although Carrie, this is the woman, didn't succeed in her aim to shock any of the men, the experience wasn't totally without value for her. She admitted, in a strange twist though, I did feel empowered, although in a much different way than I expected. Men were clamoring to meet me, which is a great feeling even if it's not for the right reasons. I'll be honest, even though it wasn't mine, I stood a little bit taller for a few days, all thanks to the fact that guys love V-pics. Okay, so big shocker. You can't shock most men with vagina pics. And for the most part, they welcome them with arms wide open. So it's no wonder that they think women will welcome their dick pic. It seems as if it is not that deep for guys. Maybe subconsciously it is, but I think when it comes to their penis, they are forever a toddler boy who just discovered his penis and the fact that it feels good when it is touched. So even if they are in a board meeting or wiping snot off their daughter's face, at some point in their day, they're thinking, do you want to see it? And I know some of y'all have your favorite pic of your member that you took 3 years ago and you keep it on deck just in case you need to send a dick pic. But consider the fact that if you really like or care about this woman, maybe she doesn't want to receive a pic that you sent to 20 other women. And when it comes to unsolicited dick pics, I equate it to indecent exposure. Indecent exposure laws in most states make it a crime to purposely display one's genitals in public, causing others to be alarmed or offended. If I'm at work and I get a text notification, open it up, and there's a dick in my face, to me, that is no different than me being at work, looking up from my computer screen, and a guy standing there with his junk exposed and in my face. That is a crime if it is done in person publicly. So why would one think it is appropriate to do it digitally? And if that pic pops up on a minor's phone, even if you didn't send it to that minor, it's a crime. And to all those girl dads out there who are proudly hashtagging girl dad with photos of them and their daughters after Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi's passing, consider your daughter innocently playing games on her phone and a dick pic pops up. Because that happens. Women get pics of men who are not in their contacts. It may be by accident, but your 12-year-old daughter cannot unsee what she saw. And if that analogy doesn't do it for you, just really consider the fact if you are a father of a daughter. Do you really want your daughter to just open up her phone and boom, there's a dick pic, regardless of how old she is? She can be 30. But hey, that's all on you, your conscience. So if your mind is too simple to consider the repercussions of sending and storing nude photos on your phone, at least make sure it is consensual. Just like all relationships, even if you are just getting to know each other, communication is key. Talk and make sure she wants to see it. Better yet, I bet if she does want to see it, she would simply ask you to send a pic. I definitely appreciate your time. Thank you for listening to the GSMC Sex Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Until next time, I'm Gaelika Brown.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of our shows from the GSMC Podcast Network. From sex and relationships to health and wellness, life and happiness, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast.